Welcome to Ban This, the show where I look at a film with the sole purpose to get ridiculously offended and try to make an argument as to why somebody should think this should no longer see the light of day. Today, I have 1978's The Evil. Just even the title itself, the title itself isn't exactly indicative of why. The most likely reason I would say somebody might want to ban this, with the exception of violence, which I'll get into a little bit later. The argument I'm going to go with this time is a bit more from a leftist perspective, in that this is thinly veiled Christian propaganda. It has a very strong sense of pure good versus pure evil in a Christian perspective. And that it may seem subtle at the beginning, but when we get to the end, that message, that mindset is just hammered into you like Jesus on the cross himself, itself, whatever. And that's what I'm going with. Well, the strong Christian aspect of here. But what do I think of the film? Yes, this could be taken as if this is going to be a bad way to put it, but the thing I'm thinking of is if Pureflix were to decide to do a hard, somewhat bloody horror film. There is some violence in here, not a whole lot, but what you would expect from a kind of a studio film made, in the late 70s would have, where it's violent, but not totally in your face. But the themes of good, evil, it has a very strong sense of morality in that way. And especially, like I said before in the argument, when we get to the end, I don't know how much I should say, since I don't like spoiling things for other people, but it hits you. If you're an atheist, it could easily put you off. No doubt about it. I myself, I'm a Christian, but relatively liberal one, obviously, considering what I'm looking at here. But it was just so sudden, so out of the field. It was kind of ridiculous. Didn't fit the rest of the film at all. But, alright, let's stop talking about the ending a little. If you want to see it for yourself, check it out. It's not a horrible film, but it's definitely one of the least original you will see. It has every cliches in the book. Although, you could sort of argue this is sort of a slasher film. This is 78, so we're just starting to get those trappings, and those tropes are just really starting to get picked up. A lot of them are there, but it's also a very standard haunted house movie with nothing really new or attempting to create the illusion of having something new. Just making for it's like a paint by numbers when it's already been painted. That's kind of what it feels like. But if you like slasher, if you like haunted house films, you might like it. But don't expect anything spectacular. And if you're a gorehound, there's a little bit. There's about one scene that's pretty violent, but it's only slightly more violent than what we would get out of like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is not a whole lot if you think about it. Well, that's my thoughts on this. I'll see you later, and try not to get too offended. And I did forget one thing, that this film at one time was sort of banned. It is a Section 3 video nasty, which isn't straight, not flat out banned or illegal like what the actual Section 2s are, but it was still a chance that they could get seized and taken from shops and whatnot. Just the whole video nasty thing's kind of confusing. Even after doing a lot of research, it's kind of a weird thing, but censorship in general has a tendency to be very weird and very inconsistent. So, I just wanted to throw that out, that this was sort of banned at one time to a degree, just not so much as something like I Spit on Your Grave or whatnot.